Yes, and welcome to another lesson here at WASA. My name is Jonathan. This is PLAR History and Geography. That is right, PLAR History and Geography. And we are in the midst of starting, or in the midst of the second half of this course, where we're looking at geography. Yes, last class on Tuesday, we started the second portion of this course, where we started looking at human geography. So we're going to continue with that lesson from last class today. Very exciting. This is the last and final class of 2015. Yes, this is the last class of this year. There will be no more classes in 2015 after today's class because we're on our holiday, Christmas, New Year break, and we shall see everyone in 2 weeks after today's class. Are there any questions, comments, concerns, or anything that anyone want to share before we get started today? We are starting the geography half. So again, at any point throughout the lesson, if you have any questions, comments, or concern, feel free to just ask, as we are here to learn together, as we are our learning community. So yes, class, today is Thursday, December 17th. We're entering or in the midst of week 5, class 2, since today is Thursday. So today we are going to continue looking at human geography. Okay, and we'll be going over questions on assignment 10. Okay, so you can see on my screen right now, we'll be starting off today's class. We're looking at industry sectors. Industry sectors. So that is one of your learning goals and objective for today, as you will be able to identify different types of industry sectors, different types, different areas, and what they all mean. We will also be looking at and defining, yes, more terminology, urban geography, other portion in terms of the main area of human geography. We looked at economics last class. We're going to finish economics today. Then we'll be looking at, like I said, urban geography. And then finally, we shall conclude by looking at military geography. And some of those categories consist of Commonwealth nations. We're looking at UN again and the Security Council and Canada's role in the Security Council. Okay, so that's our agenda for today. All right, let's begin. So, industry sectors. We're going to begin with this area today. I'm on page 31 of your textbook. If you're following along, feel free to highlight, circle, underline any key points that I'm going to talk about that you think is significant or that can help you in terms of your assignments. Yes, there are 3 types of industry. Okay, 3 types. Primary, secondary, and tertiary. These are your 3 types of industry. I will repeat them again. Your 3 types of industries are primary, secondary, and tertiary. Okay, so we're going to be going to some definitions about these 3 types and what they means, and I will give you some examples in terms of these 3 industries where people work, earn a living, based on these 3 or one of these 3 types of industry where people work. So let's shall start with the first one, primary industry. Primary industry. And what that industry contains and what it means. So, primary industry is about harvesting raw materials or natural resources, minerals, animals, water, into primary products. Okay, we are harvesting raw materials or natural resources. Okay, so some examples of raw materials that I have put in brackets are steel, wood, lumber. And some examples of natural resources are soil, minerals, animals, water, minerals again, I put it there twice. Okay, so in the primary industry or sector, people work with harvesting or extracting raw materials or natural resources. Okay, so for example, agriculture, fishing, forestry, and mining are example of primary. Okay, as they work with raw materials and natural resources. Okay, so forestry, okay, cutting down trees, planting trees, fishing, okay, where you catch a fish from the ocean. Okay, that's step one. Okay, that's step one. Mining, okay, where we look for gold, diamond, and other useful items or minerals that we can use. For example, without mining, you wouldn't be having your computer, your cell phone, or any other piece of technology, because that piece of technology comes from mining. Okay, so primary is kind of like the step one of where the product that we use every single day come from. Okay, so for example, this piece of paper that I'm holding, okay, it needs to come from somewhere. Okay, and that piece of paper that I'm holding right now starts off in the forestry industry. Okay, where we chop down trees, and then after we chop down that tree eventually turns into this piece of paper that I'm holding. Okay, hopefully that kind of makes sense. So this is where everything all begins. So again, a primary sector or a primary industry harvests raw materials such as steel, wool, lumber, or harvest or extract natural resources such as soil, animal, water, minerals, etc. into primary products that we use every single day. So some examples include or are not limited to agriculture, fishing, forestry, and mining. Okay, maybe you'll get a better sense when we move on to the next category. And that next type of industry and sector is called secondary. Secondary. Okay, secondary. So the secondary industry and sector produces manufactured goods from the primary industry. Okay, produces manufactured goods from the primary industry, goods that can be used by consumers such as us as people, usually involves working in a large factory. So some example that are listed in your textbook are furniture manufacturers, ethanol plants, fish and canneries, processing foods, and buildings. Okay, so for example, let's go back one slide and look at primary. Okay, so primary, we are fishing. We take that piece of fish from the ocean from our primary. So if you are a fisherman or a fisherwoman or a fisherer, you take that piece of fish, and now what happens? Okay, that piece of fish now goes into the secondary sector where it goes into a factory where we slice it up, um, fillet it, or turn it into a tuna can, processed food, for example. Okay, this is the process in terms of secondary where we start to produce items from items that we harvest in the primary sectors. Okay, so that piece of paper that I'm still holding in my hand, okay, it comes from a factory, for example. Okay, forestry chop down that tree, you take that tree, you take it to a factory, workers in that factory, for example, turns that lumber into a piece of paper. Or construction. Okay, we'll start building something. Okay, this is the next step in terms of different types of industry. So again, secondary industry produces manufactured goods from primary industry. Okay, all these goods can be consumed by consumers and often usually involves working in a large factory. So for example, if you work in a large factory or construction, you are classified as in the secondary industry. Okay? Please note, there will be questions on your next assignments about different types of industries. So you will need to explain all three types and give some examples as well. Okay, the last industry sector is called the tertiary industry. Tertiary. Otherwise known as the service industry. Okay, so now we have this product that the secondary industry created. Okay, could be a television, could be a sofa, could be that piece of iPhone or a smartboard. Okay, so now the tertiary industry, otherwise known as the service industry. Okay, so now we need to, for example, sell that products to consumers, to society, and to people. Okay, the tertiary industry provides service needed by primary or the secondary, for example. Okay, employ highest number of jobs, so a lot of people are employed in this industry known as tertiary. Okay, it's 3 times larger than anything else, and it's often found in dense populated area. So if you live in a city with lots of population and lots of people, such as Toronto or Winnipeg, there are a lot of jobs in the tertiary industry. So for example, remember this is the service industry. So we got transportation, banking, communication, entertainment. A teacher like myself is categorized, or I'm categorized as under the tertiary industry. Service such as police, hospital, nurses, doctors, all fall under the tertiary industry sectors. Okay, so think of any kind of service. Okay, any kind of service, or we're selling, or promoting, or selling, fall under the tertiary industry. So, for example, the primary, you're mining. Okay, you're mining. Secondary, you're producing the iPhone, for example. Tertiary, you're selling that iPhone. Okay, or forestry, primary, turns into a piece of paper or any kind of paper, for example, in the secondary, and we sell that paper or use that paper in the tertiary sectors. Okay, so these are your 3 industry sectors. Okay, please know what each of them are. Please know some examples of each sectors as well. So again, there will be questions on your assignment about what these 3 industries are and provide some examples as well. Are there questions about industry sectors? Primary, secondary, or tertiary? If there are no questions, that wraps up the economic section of human geography. Remember how last class we talked about there are 3 main areas of human geography? Economics, urbanism, and military. We are going to move on to number 2 right now. Okay, we're going to look at urban geography. Okay, this is number 2. Oh, wait, no. This is number 2 in terms of human geography. We'll get to number 3, that is military, later on in today's class. So again, if you're following along using a textbook, I am on page 33 of your textbook. Okay, again, we have lots of definitions to go over. Again, don't feel overwhelmed, but you do need to know and explain and identify what these terminology are. So for your first term under urban geography or urbanism, okay, let's define what that is. Urban geography. So when we talk about urban, okay, pretty straightforward. We're talking about the study of urban settlements, okay, otherwise known as developments of cities, towns, communities, why Toronto is located where it is, why Thunder Bay or Winnipeg is located where they are on a map, why, for example, Toronto has more population compared to Thunder Bay. Okay, we're looking at the study of settlements, how that city, town, or communities such as Silicon or even northern communities, how they develop, where they come from, why they are the way they are today. Okay, it is also the study of population. Okay, why people live there, why people don't live there, who live there, different culture, for example. Okay, patterns within a city. Okay, it is all relates to urban geography. Okay, so when looking at urban geography, we're also looking at the problems these areas may have, different policy, rules, laws, and regulation these areas may have, for example, and the quality of life of this particular area. Okay, so again, depending on where you live in the world, or in Canada, or in this province, or which community in Northern Ontario, okay, each city, community, town has its own history, why it's built the way it is, and how it grew to become what it is today. So again, urban geography is the study of urban settlements, development of cities, towns, communities, the study of population, why people come here, why people leave, and problems within that area and policies, and the quality of life. Okay, this is what we're talking about when we're dealing with urban geography. Urban geography. So one area in terms of urban geography is something called an ecological footprint. You may have heard of this term or phrase before, an ecological footprint. So what that means, each individual has an ecological footprint. The amount of productive land required to support lifestyle of an individual, country, or a business. So for example, if you drive to work or around your community more often, and it's classified or said that you have a larger ecological footprint compared to someone walking or biking. Okay, how much land or productive land or space you require to live. So, for example, if you eat meat, you require more footprint or ecological footprint compared to someone that is vegetarian because you need that farm animals, which leads to space, on Earth compared to growing things, plants, and agriculture. Okay? It all varies. Everyone has a different ecological footprint. Okay? Um, let's get back to urban areas. Urban areas. So, an urban area grows. So, for example, if that particular area grows, it leads to increase in price. So, for example, if that area is booming, lots of population and people, and creates interest, and it's growing based on job and its economy, the land space in terms of living in that particular area increase in price. So, for example, living in Winnipeg can be more expensive than living in Thunder Bay, for example. However, living in urban areas or big cities increase in problems. It has more pollution, garbage, and waste. Okay, so there are factors that we need to take into account and consider in urban areas and big cities. However, if they are growing, it leads to expansion, which means that we need to create more jobs, create more homes, which leads to chopping down more forests, clearing out land so that we can build more homes for others. As a result, we lose farmland and forests. Okay, so again, there are some pros and cons depending on where you live, which city, which area. Okay, so again, a more populated area or a bigger community tends to have more problems, tends to have more pollution, garbage, and waste. Okay, just wanted to throw that out there. All right, let's talk about Canada, for example. Canada. Canada. So Canada is a slow growing population. So the population of Canada is not increasing rapidly or quickly compared to others. Here in Canada, we have fewer children born. Okay, so if you think about it, most family nowadays tend to have one child or two child. Okay, compared to way back in the day where there's 4 or 5 kids being born. Okay, Canada is a slowly growing population with fewer children being born in each family. However, here in Canada, people live longer compared to others. Yes, that's a good thing. Here in Canada, we do have a higher life expectancy and a higher quality of life based on the resource and the economy we have here in Canada. So the average, most people here in Canada live to the age of 65 or plus, which is a good thing. Okay. Here in Canada, we're also dependent on schooling and education. So schooling is important, education is important, and healthcare is something that is important that we depend on. On my slide, there is a little diagram that shows Pyramid A and Pyramid B. Canada is an example of a Pyramid B, where we have fewer children being born, but we live much longer. Ideally 65 or plus. Compared to countries that are less developed, which means that they don't have much resources and accessibility here in Canada, tend to have an increase in birth rate, where they have more children in their family. And due to lack of resources and healthcare and education, they tend to live much shorter, not past the age of 65. Okay? This is what this diagram is illustrating, where Canada is an example of a developed country, tend to have less birth, slower growing population due to our quality of life. We live much longer compared to countries that are developing or not developed. Okay? Questions so far? Questions? No questions? Let's continue. Quality of life. I'm still on page 33 at the very bottom where it says quality of life. So I want everyone to put a big smile on your face right now because we're going to talk about quality of life. Time to be happy. This is the holiday season. Christmas is right around the corner. 2015 is almost at the end. We're going to bring in a brand new year, 2016. So we all should be fairly happy right now. So we're going to talk about the quality of life in society. Quality of life in society and what that means. It's all about being happy. Yes, being happy. Okay, so the quality of life. It's about being happy. It's about being healthy, and it's being about prosperous. Okay, you want to be happy, healthy, and have good fortune in the future. This is important to note because in terms of quality of life, your health reflects your life expectancy. So if you're happy and you're healthy and you're big and strong, it tends to lead that you will live much longer. So for example, here in Canada, most citizens and Canadians are healthy, which reflects our life expectancy, where we live to at least hopefully 65 and plus. Okay, as a result of this, again, it improves our quality of life by being happy, where we live much longer. Canada has a high life expectancy. Okay, so again, Canada, big country, a wealthy country, good economy, good resources. We have education. We have healthcare. Okay, all these factors plays into the quality of life in society. Whereas some countries in the world are still developing, don't have a good government, don't have a good support in their economy, or don't have a good support in maintaining a well sustainable job. Okay, so here in Canada, we were really fortunate and lucky to be having what we have. And as a result of that, leads to an increase in the quality of life in society. Okay? Being happy. Big happy face. Again, there will be a question on assignment 10 about the quality of life and what it means. So again, you will need to define or explain what it means to be or what it is, quality of life. Again, it's all about being happy, healthy, having good fortune in the future. Again, all these plays into a role about reflecting an increase in life expectancy, your quality of life, living longer, being happy, healthy, etc. Okay? And that finishes off urban geography. Look at that. Nice and short. Only a few definitions that we need to go over in terms of urban geography. Okay, so now if you have been keeping track, 1. Economic geography is done. Check. Urban geography is done. Check. We just finished that today. And now we're going to finish off the last section in human geography, and that is military geography. Military. Number 3. Military geography. Does anyone know what military geography is all about? Can anyone take a guess? Military geography. If you think about battles, guns, and warfare, you're pretty close. You're not wrong. It does have to do with quality of life and building on democracy and protecting and helping others. Okay, not necessarily mean we're going out and causing conflict, but we want to promote peace. Okay, so let's define military geography, what that means. Oh, look at that right here, military geography. Again, this is in your textbook on the very top of page 34. It talks about military geography and what it means. Military geography, yes, is a specialized field in geography. Okay, not really popular, or could be popular, but it's a specialized field when looking at geography. Yes, when we're looking at geography, we often talk about looking at maps, cities, okay? But military geography is not really studied, but we're going to study it in this course. So yes, military geography is a specialized field in terms of geography, or while studying geography. It deals with natural and man-made physical features that may affect planning and conduct of military options. Okay? That doesn't mean that we're going to go out and cause war and take over a land of a different country. Okay? Military geography deals with natural and man-made physical features that may affect planning and the conduct of military operation. Okay? So yes, it does relate back to, a country military force and its operation and how it operates and how it proceeds and does things. Okay, so for example, we talked about the UN, the United Nations. The United Nations is an example of military geography. Okay, the UN, United Nations, is an organization that involves many, many countries, including where they work together to promote peace, security, and economic development. Okay? It doesn't mean, again, it doesn't mean that we're going to go out and cause war and chaos. Okay? Kind of the opposite, where we're working together and helping others promote peace, helping countries who are in need of security and economic development. Okay? This is what we're talking about, and this is what we're dealing about in terms of military geography. Okay? So let's continue and look at other examples in terms of military geography. We're going to look at Security Council. Again, this is also on page 34 of your textbook. Security Council is a division in the UN. It consists of countries such as, well, it was created with the United States, Britain, China, France, and Russia. These 5 countries created the Security Council, this division in the United Nations. So if there is a crisis or international crisis or international emergency or a disaster, okay, countries in the UN or a part of the Security Council are called into session to respond quickly in terms of these crises. Canada is a part of the Security Council and is a part of the UN. Okay, so Canada's role, we kind of talked about this in the past, where Canada's role is about peacekeeping. Peacekeeping, something that Canadians here in Canada take really strong pride in as a nation, as a country, peacekeeping. So what that means and what Canada's role under the UN Security Council is, we wanted to protect civilian in war or disaster. So for example, if a country like Haiti is struck by a earthquake, we will come and help and aid Haiti by supplying medicine, food, shelter. Okay, we want to help them by giving them resources that we have. Okay, we also help countries who are in need, in poverty. Okay, who don't have a good quality of life. You want to help that country as much as possible. Again, by giving medicine, food, clothing, shelter. Okay, Canada also wants to promote human rights. Okay, we talked about human rights before. Okay, freedom, for example, democracy. Okay, all leads to a better quality of life. This is Canada's role in the UN Security Council. Okay, it all relates back to peacekeeping. Where here in Canada, here as Canadian, we want to help others who are in need or hit by natural disaster or etc. Okay, this is how Canada. This is what Canada's role is in the UN Security Council. Questions so far? Does that make sense so far? Again, all these definitions and terminology, yes, I do know there are lots, but again, they are in your textbook. And again, I will be posting this lesson on my YouTube channel. Okay, we're moving on to our last section of today's class. It is still under the military geography section. Okay, I'm on the next page 35 of your textbook. We're going to look at Commonwealth of Nation. Commonwealth Nation. Commonwealth Nation. Okay, I do have a little map of the world on my slide. You can see that all the countries that are highlighted in dark blue are a part of the Commonwealth nation. What does that mean? What does that mean? Well, these countries that are highlighted in dark blue are independent sovereign state or a country that once had British ties at one point in history, or was once a former territory of the British Empire, or once an area or a country or a territory that belonged to the British Empire or colony of Britain at one point. So that does mean, yes, Canada is a part of the Commonwealth nation, because if you have been following and listening, especially during the history portion, Canada has strong links and ties to Britain. As a result, Canada is a part of the Commonwealth nation because we were once a part of a colony of Britain or have strong links to the British Empire. Very, very important. So any country that has links or ties to the British Empire is considered or can be considered a Commonwealth nation. That's what a Commonwealth nation means. Queen Elizabeth II. Queen Elizabeth II, our queen, our head of state. Doesn't mean that she has political powers. She is just a symbol of unity, bringing us together. Okay, so all the countries that are highlighted in dark blue sees Queen Elizabeth II as the head of state. So we do recognize the same queen. Commonwealth nation also includes a diverse economic background. Okay, so everyone has different backgrounds and different economy. However, we all promote the same goals, such as democracy, human rights, and good governance. Okay, so again, all these countries that are highlighted in dark blue, we share the same common goal, we share the same common view in terms of promoting democracy, spreading human rights, freedom, goodwill, good governance. Okay, all have the same common goal because we were all once a part of the British Empire. Okay? So this is what a Commonwealth nation means. This is how a country becomes a Commonwealth nation as well. Very, very important. Okay, so again, to qualify to be a Commonwealth nation, you must have link or British tie to the British Empire. So for example, some countries that do not belong to the Commonwealth nation are Egypt, Jordan, United States, Iraq, Kuwait, Hong Kong, and France. These are some examples of countries who do not belong. It is once said that France should apply to be a part of the Commonwealth nation. Why? Because France share the same common goal as countries in the Commonwealth nations. However, France do not have link or ties to the British Empire. But however, it is once said that France should apply or be qualified to be a part of the Commonwealth nation. Okay, so again, some countries that do not belong okay, are Egypt, Jordan, United States, Iraq, Kuwait, Hong Kong, and France. Again, your textbook goes into much greater details about Commonwealth nations and how they're significant. But the main point that I really want to stress that you really need to remember is that a Commonwealth nation is an independent sovereign state that once had ties or link to the British Empire. Very significant. Okay? Are there questions? Are there questions? Again, within my slide, within my diagram, I'm trying to keep things short and simple so that it really makes sense. But again, your textbook does go into much greater details as well. Questions? Are there any questions? Again, don't feel overwhelmed. We did cover a lot of materials in today's class. Hopefully everyone is still working on this assignments. If there are no questions, that concludes lesson number 4 of PLAR History and Geography. Lesson number 4 is now done, finished. So let's get to questions on assignment 10. Questions on assignment 10. Again, not a big assignment, but not a short assignment. Very, very straightforward. Again, it's out of 18 marks. Question number 1. What is primary industry? Again, explain it, what it is. Give examples of this type of industry. Okay, so give us some example. Could be agriculture, could be mining, it could be fishing. Okay, 1 mark each for explaining what it is and giving some examples. Question number 2. What is secondary industry? Again, straightforward. Talked about in today's class. Tell me what it is and give some examples. Question number 3. What is tertiary industry? What is tertiary industry? Again, give some examples. Again, please do not copy that whole paragraph in your textbook because that does not demonstrate to me your learning and your understanding. Okay, summarize it into your own words. Highlight the key points, what it means, and give some examples as well. Okay, simple first 3 questions, each out of 2 marks. 2 marks. Question number 4. What is urban geography? Again, you are explaining what it is. Full, complete sentences. Urban geography is, for example, the study of urban settlements, growing cities, population, the quality of life in that area. Okay, 2 marks. Question number 5. Question number 5. What is the quality of life in society and what it means? Okay, what is the quality of life in society? So again, full sentences. The quality Okay, the quality of life in society is dot 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 dot. Okay, get some examples. Again, make sure you check for spelling, grammar as well. You will lose marks if you spell something incorrectly or if I read something that doesn't make sense. Again, we're always working on improving our writing skills and our English skills. Again, if you're writing something, you're going along through assignments, and you're not quite sure if that makes sense, or if you're quite not sure if you will receive full marks, again, just ask me and I will tell you. Okay, remember, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help. Okay. Question number 6 on assignment 10. What is military geography? Again, more definitions, more terminologies. Again, nothing new. Tell me what it is, explain what it is in your own words, summarize the key points. 2 marks. 2 marks. Continue along in questions on assignment 10. Question number 7. What is Canada's role in the United Nations Security Council? What is Canada's role in the United Nations Security Council? Again, we talked about it. Give some examples, explain what Canada's role is, how Canada help other countries, what we do. Okay. Last question. Question number 8. Make sure you read this a couple times. So it does ask more than one things, and it is out of 4 marks. Keep that in mind. Describe the Commonwealth of Nations. We talked about it just now. Commonwealth nation. Describe it. What it is. Who are they? Why are there similar characteristics of a Commonwealth nation? Include who is entitled to be a member. Again, I've stressed that so many times. Why is Canada part of this organization? Again, stressed it again. We'll learn it in PLAR history. And name 4 countries that do not belong, but they qualify for membership. Name 4 countries that do not belong. I think we listed about 6 or 7. Just give me 4. Any 4 countries that do not belong. Okay, again, describe the Commonwealth nations. Include who is entitled to be a member and why Canada is a part of this organization. And then give me 4 countries that do not belong. Any 4, just 4. Okay, but just 4. Okay? And that is, okay, class, assignment 10. And that concludes lesson 4 of PLAR history and geography. Which means that we will be starting lesson 5. Okay, we'll be starting lesson 5, physical geography, in the brand new year of 2016. Okay, so hopefully you're still working on assignments. This is assignment 10, which means that there are 6 more assignments to complete in terms of lesson 5. So yes, lesson 5 is pretty big. Lots of materials to go over there. But let's not worry about that right now, because we'll be going over that in the new year. Okay. Are there any questions right now? Again, feel free to shout them out Write down on my screen, type it. Okay, don't feel shy. Okay, I'm here to help. We do have a few minutes left online together, so if there are any questions, just let me know, and I will do my best to answer your questions. Again, this is the last class of 2015. With that being said, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Okay, so if you do have time over the next 2 weeks during the break, feel free to work on your assignments. Feel free to zip through them. Again, if you are eligible to write your tests, either the history test or the geography test, you can do that in the new year as well. Okay, that way you can get your credit for this course. Again, you can also add me as a friend on Facebook at jhowasa. Again, like promised, like always, I do post this lesson on my YouTube channel. However, if you see if this works, if you go to the NNEC homepage, okay, and at the very top, very top, where it says Wausau Distance Education Center or Distance Education, okay, there's a little tab called Archive Classes. If you click on that tab, let's do that right now. Okay, it'll take you to this page. Okay, if you click on the term 1B and go to PLAR History and Geography, Jonathan, you can download all of my classes that we have conducted or went over for this term. Okay, you won't be able to see what I'm highlighting and circling and posting on my smartboard screen. To do that, you'll need to go to the YouTube channel. Okay, you have access to internet. But however, this is another option as well that I highly encourage everyone to do as well. Okay, you can download this MP3 file and listen to all my lesson over and over again if you wish. Okay, again, more options if you need help with your assignments. Again, I do post it on my YouTube channel. Okay, again, that's just on the nnec.on.ca webpage on the Wausau Distance Education Center on the archive classes. You can also check out any other PLAR classes as well with Andrea, Bonnie, and Jovi, or you can check out any other classes that our teachers here at Wausau provide as well. Very neat, very accessible source as well. Okay, if there are no questions, I'm going to stop it here for tonight. Again, this is it for lesson 4. We will start lesson 5 in the new year. Again, I want to wish everyone a wonderful and safe Christmas and New Year. I just spend time with your loved ones, your family, and friends. Be safe, stay warm, and I will see everyone in 2016.